and welcome to Rue's Life, and welcome to August's Ponderings from the Polytunnel, or just outside the Polytunnel, because in all honesty it's just too hot to sit inside. It's about 31 degrees outside in the sun. It's obviously cooler here in the shade, and yeah, it's racing up to, it has been going up to sort of 40-50 degrees in the Polytunnel, but we have now covered with a narrow tarpaulin as a shade cover, and that's really helped to keep the temperatures down. So starting here on the plot, things could not be better, and I will just pick up my trug and show you what I have harvested today. So I've got a little cabbage, got one of the round courgettes, I've got a couple of the traditional courgettes, I have got 4 small and 1 stonking big cucumber, I've got a selection of beans. There's a Bellotto one there, there's some Greek Gigantes and some Madeira Maroons. I've just picked a few of those. I've got here some beautiful, oh, just delightful basil. And then in my other trug, I have got a few strawberries. They're still coming and there's still some on the plant. And then in here, I have got a couple of snowball turnips and 4 beetroot, 2 of the Chioggia, the beautiful candy stripe, and 2 of the Boltardi. So the harvests are coming thick and fast, and I am absolutely loving it. So do let me know in the comments below how your growing is coming along and what you're harvesting at the moment. And I hope that you're surviving these temperatures. So I'll be honest with you, I am a winter girl, temperature wise I'm not great in the heat, but we've been coping really well. So I have mentioned previously, we're very fortunate here on the farm, we're on a borehole, so water isn't an issue, so we can just, you know, switch taps on, fill troughs up for the livestock, for ourselves obviously. So here at the plot I don't have to restrict my watering, and I know how fortunate I am in that. I don't have to make that decision as to what is more important. So we can still use our sprinkler system morning and evening, and I can bring the hose into the Polytunnel and obviously across the way. My sweet peas have made a comeback. They're looking absolutely glorious. So I'd given them a really good, you know, taken all of those dead heads off, cut them back a little bit, watered them like there's no tomorrow, and they have actually bounced back and they're just delightful. So we're having a second flush of the sweet peas. So the horses are absolutely fine. I'm not doing a huge amount with them in this hot weather, so they're out. They have plenty of shade they can get into if they need to. They're all in together now. Pony has had some time in his little piggy pen, as we call it, that little separate area that he has to watch his weight, but they're all out together at the moment. We've got 4 great big water buckets there for them, and we fill those up 2 to 3 times a day, or whenever they need them, but we certainly check them regularly and fill them. At the moment, generally we're filling them 2 to 3 times a day. We're putting fly spray on them, particularly in the morning, but again in the evening if necessary, and they're doing really well. The sheep are still in their summer grazing. Again, they've got plenty of shade, and we just make sure that their water is full, and they've got that fresh, plentiful supply of water. The dogs, I had mentioned previously about Kay, and they're both doing absolutely fine, and we've had all of Kay's results back from her latest checkup, and she's stable as she can be. There will always be gentle deterioration, but the medication she's on is really helping her. And funding wise, we had a really good chat with the hospital that we take her to, and explained the situation. And again, because I'm a veterinary nurse myself, so I'm in the industry, we've started looking at ways, and I've been amazed actually once we started to ask and to look, that it's looking that we have in fact found a way that we will be able to despite the fact that the funding for Kay is being withdrawn, we are going to manage to continue to keep her going for her appointments on the medication that she needs and have all the care that she needs. So that's just wonderful. I'll be honest with you, she's struggling a little bit in this heat, but we've been using like a mist spray and a fan, and she's quite sensible, so she's just we're keeping her nice and quiet, just out for wheeze and poos really, and eating, and then back to just chilling her. And she's been a real sensible girl, but yeah, we have to just be very mindful in this hot weather with her. The chickens are all doing fine. We have just treated them. We had a little bit of a mite outbreak, but I think we caught it nice and early. So we've treated all the chickens. So we can't eat their eggs for 10 days after treating them. And we have treated obviously the coop and the area as well. And we've spread plenty of diatomaceous earth around, which is fabulous for helping to kill off mites. And they've hunkered down, and we've put it in their dust baths where they like to dust bath, so they're fluffing themselves up with it, and they're looking really healthy. It was just that I happened to notice a couple of mites creepy crawling, so we jumped on that and we have treated them. But apart from that, they're doing absolutely fine. My health, I have been a bit poorly of late. I'm bouncing back slowly. I'm not going to go into the details. But yeah, I've been really very poorly. So I was fortunate in that some of my videos I actually had filmed and scheduled. So for the last week, the videos that I put out I'd already pre-filmed and scheduled. So the ones that you'll have seen will be the bean harvest, the strawberries, and there may have been one before that as well. Anywho, that actually meant that it didn't interfere with my filming, because I do like to get my content out, and you guys that watch me regularly are always so wonderful. And if ever I've had to put the occasional community post to say I'm going to miss a video, and everybody's so understanding and so lovely, but I like my continuity, and I know myself when I watch the YouTube that I watch. You're always a little bit disappointed when something you're looking forward to doesn't come out. So I feel it's only fair to try and keep that content coming on my Wednesdays and Sundays. So today is a perfect day for me to just sit and have a little chatty, because I'm not really up to doing much in the garden. We were off anyway this week. We've got some annual leave. But other good news health-wise was the week prior to that, before I was really poorly, I had an appointment with my neurologist. So we pootled off to the Walton Centre, and they're absolutely fantastic there. It's a big old day for us, because it's about 5 hours out of our day for an appointment. But it was a really successful appointment, and I've now been on the medication that I'm on for my chronic migraine, where I have to inject myself monthly. There are certain stipulations, and not everybody can stay on it. So basically I had to have an assessment, and they had to agree as to whether I had to come off that medication or whether I could stay on it. So a little bit stressful, because I was quite concerned they may take me off it. But my neurologist was wonderful. She said there's absolutely no doubt in her mind that I can stay on it, so not to worry. They've put up another 12 months prescription for me, which then goes to the suppliers, and then I just liaise with the people that supply it. They're a medical company, and then they deliver it directly. It comes refrigerated. I have to pop it straight in the fridge when it arrives, and we have to sign for it and so on. But that's fantastic. So it means that I can continue to get that, and it comes in 3-month supplies. So we pop it in the fridge, and then when I'm getting low, we just give them a ring and arrange another delivery. So that was really positive, and it really is making a massive difference to my life. So for those of you that may not be aware, or maybe new to the channel, I have some chronic health conditions, one of which is chronic migraine, and just over a year ago now I started on a new medication which is called Ajovy, and it's absolutely changed my life, so it's wonderful. So everything here on the farm and plot, as I say, is doing great. Our sort of coping strategy at the moment is just up really early in the morning when it's a little bit cooler, and we get out between the two of us and get the polytunnel watered, the plot watered, the doors opened up, the fan going, the little solar fan. As I say, we've got this shading across the polytunnel to keep those temperatures down. Let the dogs out early, get them back in with a fan going and some mist spray water for them. Check the horses, sheep, etc., the chickens, just get everything done first thing in the morning. And then we're keeping the curtains drawn in the house. It's actually a lovely cool cottage, but if we keep those curtains drawn, it just keeps it a little bit cooler. So windows open and curtains drawn, and it's staying nice and cool in there. And as I say, we've got a lovely oscillating fan, which helps. So, books I've been reading. I have finished the Nicola May series and I really enjoyed them. And I've now started the first of the Sally Rooney books, which is Conversations with Friends. I'm not far into it. I'm really enjoying it. And alongside that, I'm still going through my Ruby Wax mindfulness journal workbook, which is really helpful. So I'm sort of dipping in and out. Work, as I've mentioned in the past, has been particularly busy. I've got lots of positive things happening. So without going into too much detail, we have been short-staffed, but I've been taking steps. We've been interviewing, and I've chosen and started training. I've offered to somebody else. I'm hoping that they're going to accept. I've got a massive thing happening for me in October. We will be starting a new member of staff who will be working alongside me. We normally have two principal members of staff. So I'm the principal nurse manager, and we would normally have a principal vet, but we haven't got a principal vet at the moment. But starting in October we will have, and it's a lovely lady that I know and who I've worked with in the past. And I can't wait for her to start. I'm so excited. She's moving back to the area. She's an absolutely wonderful person. I knew her when she was a student, and yeah, I can't wait for her to start. I think we're going to make a really invincible team. So that's really exciting. Things are really changing. So at the moment, it's still nose to the grind. It's still very hard work, but I can see that the work I'm putting in is starting to pay dividends, and I think that by Christmas, which is one of our busiest times, I'm hoping we're certainly going to be very close to being fully staffed again, which is going to make a huge difference. So the reason I went off down that tangent about work is I haven't had as much time for reading. We finished watching Taskmaster. We watched the whole lot, all 13 seasons, and we absolutely loved it. I mean, it's just very silly, isn't it? But it's the kind of thing that you don't have to concentrate, and we've enjoyed watching it together. It's been quite nice. And I've actually been watching a bit more YouTube, because there's so many channels that I absolutely love, and I'm subscribed to, but so often I don't have time to watch and support other channels. So I have actually had a little bit more time to do that, which has been really lovely. And then other things we've been doing, I have got back to my wild swimming, and since I can't remember if I'd said I wanted to or I had been, can't remember, in the last Ponderings, but for the last 4 weeks I have been swimming every week, and I'm absolutely loving it. Swimming, right out, because there's been some beautiful days like this where the sun's, you probably can't see the sun because I've sat us in the shade, but beautiful blue skies, and the mere where I swim has been like a mill pond, and meeting lots of lovely people. I've met some really great people from a local swimming group. So I've checked them out on Facebook, and what I'm finding is it's obviously far better to swim with other people, and now that I've got my confidence, I can do that. But I've met this lovely lady who I've been swimming with regularly, so I don't know if you're watching, Jules, but big shout out to Jules, my swim buddy, if you are watching. Made such a difference. You should see the pair of us. We just get in and we're swimming out like there's no tomorrow. So yeah, absolutely loving it, and long may it continue, and the plan is to keep going. I want to be able to swim all year round, as I have done previously, but more consistently now. So rather than big gap and then it's a bit of a big deal and oh my goodness it's cold, and I've kind of dipped in and out literally. What I want to do is swim at least once a week. At least I want to try and swim more if I can, but once a week is great, all year round. And the other thing that we did, Chris and I actually went kayaking, which was fabulous. So Chris's friend very kindly lent us his kayaks, and they're inflatable ones, but they're amazing. And we took them to a different local lake, because you can only swim in our local mere. You can't take boats or anything there, or paddle boards or anything. So we went to another place local to us, which is called Aldeford Lake. And it is lovely there. It has recently got a little bit more expensive. It used to be that you could pop and have a little walk around for free and buy something in the shop if you wanted to, or get a coffee or not. Now it's they're charging for parking, they're charging to let you in. The cost of everything's gone up, but I suppose business is business, isn't it? And if they realise they can make money, then they're going to. But it was a little bit disappointing. That it'll mean we can't go as often as we would like. But that aside, we went and we had a lovely time kayaking. It was great fun. We just went out and we kind of went, there's like an island, and we kayaked around the island, and it was lovely. We had a really, really nice time. So that is what we have been up to. So I'm going to go and get myself a cold drink. I'm going to take these vegetables and get them processed. We have processed about a third now of my onion harvest. So I've got some that I've plaited, they're on a string, and then about a third of what was left, some of the white, some of the red, we've chopped and frozen, and we do need to get the rest chopped and into the freezer as well. I've got loads of beans in the freezer. I'm trying to think what else I might have put in there recently. So some of these may, some of the courgettes I might just chop and freeze. I know they don't freeze brilliantly, but they do great for soups and casseroles. And I'd rather chop and freeze and have them a bit mushy in a casserole than waste them. If I really get to that glut stage, I can always chop them up and give them to the chickens. But I'd rather they were for the humans. I like to give the chickens the excess. So anything that I take, so for example when I've got this little cabbage and I pulled all the excess, anything that I do over here on the table or on the staging the polytunnel, I can give to the chickens. I don't know if any of you are aware, but once you've taken it into your kitchen and you start to chop it, you're not supposed to then give it to your chickens because it's considered kitchen waste. But if it's processed out here, then they can have it. So there's always lots of leaves and bits and bobs and trimmings that they can have from here. So I'm always loath to give them like a whole courgette. I'd rather it went in the freezer and went in our tummies. So I hope you're all well. I hope you're managing. If you're having hot weather, let me know in the comments below, wherever you are in the world, what's the weather doing with you, and how are your gardens? What have you been up to? What have you been reading? What have you been watching? What activities have you been up to? Have you done anything new? Have you got anything booked that you're looking forward to? Let me know. I love to hear what you're all up to. So take good care, and I will see you all again soon.